One and two.
I call the meeting in order. Please rise for silent reflection and pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a roll call, Jay.
Mrs. Cynthia?
Here.
Mrs. King?
Here.
Mr. O'Brien?
Here.
Mr. Schuler?
Here.
Mr. Tinkin?
Here.
Mr. Vorbach? Mayor Mechanico?
Here. Please read the Open Public Meeting Act.
Pursuant to the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which has been filed in the office of the Borough Clerk, posted on the bulletin board here in the municipal building, as well as on the Borough website, and published as a legal notice in the Co-Star newspaper.
Thank you. Need a motion and a second to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any questions? Roll call, Jay.
Mrs. Cynthia?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Tinkin?
Yes.
Thank you. No presentation, no scheduled public hearings. We move right to the public comment section of the meeting. You may step forward and speak on any agenda item. Just give your name and address. Step forward and give your name and address, please.
Sharon Bateau, 1719 Beverly Avenue. If I could have an explanation of underneath the reports and notices and resolutions, specifically the major access application, the housing rehab program, and the mosquito extermination pesticides.
Which two were they, Sharon?
The first two, under reports and notices, the major access application notice and the housing rehabilitation program, and then under resolutions, the one about mosquito spray.
Mosquito, okay. Jay?
Mayor, would you like me to address the first item, the NJDOT access application? As you may be aware, the property owner, Amascato Family LLC, has an application pending before the borough's planning board for development of the parcel that is at the intersection of Allaire Road and Route 71. As part of that process, the applicant has also filed an application with New Jersey DOT, Department of Transportation, for an access permit for the portion of the project that fronts on Route 71. So that application is approved or is pending before DOT. Notification has been submitted to the borough to provide any comments that the borough wishes to make. I will tell you that this application, or the DOT application, has been provided to the planning board for their consideration as part of the development application, as well as was referred to the borough's engineer, Mr. Joe May. Mr. May reviewed the application and has made no recommendation at this time for any comments by the borough to that application.
Thank you.
In terms of the...
Is there an existing entry? Is this an existing entry?
There is. For those that are familiar with the parcel, the property basically includes the existing Kearney Federal, or they've changed their name a couple of times, but the bank on the corner, which has an access entrance off of Route 71, and there is also access off of Allaire Road. So this is modifying that opening to some extent, and again, that's part of the application that's pending before the planning board.
You have a question, Chris?
So, because I was unclear about this too. So it's an existing, they're not making an additional opening here?
That is my understanding, although I won't speak to the technical aspects of it. There is currently one access on Allaire Road and one access on Route 71. And although this application changes that configuration somewhat, there is not...
Doesn't change the number?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, I was unclear from this
It's not
application.
something we vote, right? It's-
No,
We don't get the vote on.
as the notice indicates, if the borough has any objections to the DOT granting approval, it would be included as part of the DOT's review process.
So is this going to be discussed on Wednesday night at the planning board? Will this come up?
I believe the development application is pending before the planning board, and this information was included or has been provided to the planning board. I have not seen the planning board agenda, but I know the application was submitted back in December and was originally scheduled to be heard in January. It is my understanding that that matter will be considered this month.
This was not, so,
This was just,
okay, so,
So it's not on the
I
February?
mean, if we have to make, are you saying this is our only time to make an objection? And we don't, I haven't been to a.
I would
planning board-
defer-
We haven't had a planning board
I
meeting
would,
this year.
I would suggest that those questions be directed to the planning board engineer and planning board attorney. I'm not familiar enough with the specifics of that process.
And we have a meeting Wednesday.
But the point is that if we're gonna make an objection, we have to make an objection tonight.
We don't have,
Sorry, we got 30 days, right,
Well,
from the 13th?
The notification is that the borough can object. I don't believe that's limited to just the borough council. The planning board, as part of their review, I believe has the ability to make that determination.
30 days, though, from the 13th.
So we have time,
We have one more meeting.
one more meeting.
And the housing rehabilitation program, what is?
The-
I can't hear you, you have to talk into the mic.
I was just wanting some information about what is the housing rehabilitation program?
The borough in, let's see the date here, in 2009, contracted with Monmouth County Department of Community Development for the rehabilitation of existing residential units under the borough's obligation to provide affordable housing in accordance with the COA requirements, COA being Council on Affordable Housing. At the time, in 2009, the borough committed to providing funding for up to 3 units of rehabilitation, subject to the borough actually providing that funding. As you are probably aware, the whole COA issue has been somewhat put on a back burner. Initially, the governor disbanded the Council on Affordable Housing, which was subsequently overturned through litigation. The council is currently in the process of reactivating itself and reviewing the second and third round housing requirements. This correspondence is from the county reminding us that we contracted with them to provide this housing rehabilitation, and if the borough wishes to move forward with that, we would have to provide the funding.
Why haven't we done it?
I can only assume that the borough determined after this contract was executed, that because the borough, the whole issue of the borough's obligation under COA was in limbo with the disbanding of COA and the rewriting of the requirements, that there was no reason to continue with the planned rehabilitation of residential units.
I don't think we have one affordable housing in the entire town.
It says we have 3, right?
Well,
I'm pretty certain,
no, Gordon,
Do we have any?
no.
no.
Okay, so we have no obligation, there's no residents that we have an obligation to.
We pretty
Well,
much provide affordable housing for this whole area.
yes, and under the original, and I hesitate to use the word original, but under the previously adopted COA requirements, the borough had what was at that time referred to as an indigenous need requirement that could be accomplished through rehabilitating existing structures. That's what this contract and program was intended to address.
Right.
But that whole issue again has become, up until about 6 months ago, it became moot, but pending with the litigation that reestablished the COA program, I believe the state's in the process of reestablishing those
And
requirements.
if I just visualize a town, I don't think there's any structures in town that need to be rehabilitated. Maybe there are.
Under this program.
I mean, the mayors have been, whether or not it's Frank Adams or Malik or, you know, Brandon, right, or yourself, Mayor, I mean, have been against this historically, and it's the reason why it hasn't gone anywhere. I mean, the reason why we don't have any, is that they've figured out a way to
Well,
push it to the back burner. And,
Yeah, at
you
one
know,
time
we
the
do,
borough-
I mean, to say we don't have affordable housing in our, I mean, I think is, we do have affordable housing. I mean, we're not Spring Lake, we're not Seagirt, you know, we, have affordable housing options. I think we unfortunately provided for many other towns.
So what's our next step in responding to this correspondence?
Well, if the council wishes to pursue this, we would need to let the county know that, yes, we're still interested, and secondly, provide the funding in our budget.
So it
So
would require,
the funding being
Yeah.
tax dollars.
exactly, it would require, I mean, for this money to go out, we have to put it in our budget, and it's not currently in our budget.
That's correct.
And
What the
it's like-
county is,
it's
I just
like-
wanted to make that clear, that
And I'm,
we're not gonna pay this without you seeing it in the budget.
right, and Tom, I just want to also point out that I remember when I was finance chair, it was between $25,000 to $50,000 per unit. We were gonna.
Yeah, I mean, it says that
Oh,
we're
okay.
up to like $90,000 that we owe them.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Go ahead.
So I just want to know, are there currently units that we have residents that need to be rehabilitated? Is there any way to find that out for the council?
as I understand this, if the council were to continue with this contract and provide the funding, at that point, the county would start their process to basically solicit input and applications from existing property owners that may be eligible for rehabilitation under this program.
And then we also have to, correct me if I'm wrong, hire a COA attorney. And also, I mean, we have to hire professionals that just do this work.
Yes, this contract with the county was one element of what I presume was the council and the town's attempt to either comply with COA regulations as they existed pre-2010, or seek certification at that, under that existing, under that prior program at the state level, where the council would provide certification once there was a demonstration of the indigenous need having already been met to bypass the requirement that had been established.
So, but basically, the charge here, it's about, you know, whatever per unit, whether it's $25,000, $50,000, $90,000 per unit, it's actually more because we have to hire professionals that are trained in this thing.
Well, this again is just one element of what apparently had been the town's reaction to the COLA requirements. One was, we're going to provide rehabilitation of existing units under our indigenous need, as well as, from what I've seen in the records, the borough was trying to go through the certification process to either reduce, if not eliminate, all requirement for new residential affordable housing units. And that process essentially stopped with the disbanding of the council 4 years ago.
So, I guess to the best of your knowledge, are we meeting the needs of our residents, or must we do something else?
As far as I know, we are.
Okay.
And I noticed recently that Spring Lake satisfied their responsibility with only one structure. So, I mean, I would think if this comes to pass, it shouldn't be, we shouldn't have to build brand new.
No, I don't think that's,
Houses
I
and
don't think this is talking about building, I think it's rehabilitation of existing.
This program is rehabilitation of existing dwelling
And
units.
if we have residents who qualify for the program, I just want to make sure we're meeting their needs.
Right.
But it could even be apartment owners. It could be
Yeah.
just some of the apartments.
Okay, thank you. So my last one is a little concerned about the mosquito spraying. I'm just wondering what's in the pesticides and is it safe for the residents? And
I know they've been doing it.
where and when are we going to know where this stuff is going to start falling from the
They
skies?
usually
It came up
say-
last year, I
Yeah,
remember.
Yes, good. Do you remember?
This is kind of scary.
Yeah,
They spray every year.
the Monmouth County Mosquito Extermination Commission has an annual program to provide for mosquito control. And that includes aerial surveillance as well as eradication, including, the treatment, spraying for lack of a better word. In order to do that, they require the municipal approval. That approval has routinely been granted by Spring Lake Heights for those areas that the Mosquito Commission has determined require training.
Are any of those areas residential?
I think most of, I'll be honest,
I would imagine.
most of the spraying, I believe is done by, down here at Polly Pog.
Like, around my backyard, it's done because I'm down by the creek. And so they do it where, next to the water.
Right,
And,
well, that would make sense, but I mean, there any way, I mean, what kind of pesticides? Is it safe? Is it,
Well, they're approved by the state.
well, that answers my question. So do we get some kind of warning, like before they do this?
I could, yes.
They've indicated that the local police are notified prior.
Will we get a, can we do a,
We do like a, notification,
electronic
We can certainly do that.
That'd be great. And then that will be my husband. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Anyone else like to speak?
Gladys Sir, Pitney Drive. I'd just like to say once again that our maintenance crew did a terrific job through the snowstorms, even though they were without Ari, and the streets were still clean and were minor salt, I understand that. And of course, our police department, once again, has always been around and at your service for anything. So I think they should be commended for their diligence. Thank you. You can win 100 pounds, as we said.
That's right.
And you still can't.
It's a different story.
Pat Kirkland, 564 Atlantic Avenue. I see that once again the approval of minutes is at the bottom of the agenda, and I want to address my comments to Mr. Mayor, since you are the chairman of this body. Meeting minutes, I have checked 3 different professional organizations. I've checked with Robert's Rules of Orders, I've checked with the National Association of Parliamentarians, and I checked with Toastmasters International. And all of those organizations confirm that approval of the minutes needs to be at the top of the agenda, that should be your first order of business, because it is a way to allow your members to review what happened at the last meeting. So if there's any action that needs to be taken at the current meeting, it's a reminder for them. But also, I found a quote from Toastmasters about the importance of meeting minutes. And it says, keep in mind, minutes are a legal document for the organization. By approving the minutes, the members agree that this is what happened at the meeting. When a legal action has been brought against the organization, courts use minutes for evidence. Therefore, it is important that the Assembly approve the minutes. There have been no meeting minutes done, with the exceptions of the ones that Councilwoman King went after and got done from the reorg meeting. There has not been anything since March, when you had the big meeting over at the school. And I know the clerk has taken a bullet in the past and said that he's responsible and been delinquent, but truly, at the end of the day, I don't hear one person on this dais complaining that the people are not being served because they're not getting the meeting minutes. And I get phone calls at home from people asking me, what happened at the meeting? Can you find where it is on the videotape so that I can review what happened? Because the borough used to put this stuff online, but they don't do it anymore. So, Mr. Mayor, as the chairman of this body, could you please push this forward and get us the minutes? People want the meeting minutes. They want to be able to review back. They want to see how people voted on issues. They want to see that issues were discussed and what came up. There is no record. You are legally obligated to keep records. Now, I have put in an open request for everything, from 2012, from 2013, from 2014, including executive session minutes where the issue has been solved. I will put them online so that people have access to them. And if I don't get them, I will go to the Government Records Council, which is the next step. I don't understand why this takes so long. We always had minutes in the past. It's a disservice to the community that the people are not able to get the information that they need. Thank you.
Jay, we'll have a little meeting about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe tomorrow, next day, whenever we get a chance. All right, anyone else like to speak? Seeing no hands, need a motion to close the public.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I thank the residents that spoke. We will take your comments into consideration. We will, seriously. Starting meeting for the council reports. We start with Mr. Councilman O'Brien on the finance. Anything?
No report at this time.
Mr. Schuler,
No report this time.
Councilwoman King,
No report.
Councilwoman Cindy.
I have a report with regards to the snow removal and the additional cost for the salt. We're gonna have an increase of around 6,600 for the salt, and the DPW overtime is now around 12 grand. So the guys have been responding, and of course, my understanding, we have enough salt, is that correct, Jay? Did we
We
get it
received
in?
notification today that the order that we last placed that had been on hold is en route.
It's still
En route.
is en route.
From where?
I'm not sure from where.
From where and how?
We're supposed to have more,
But it is scheduled.
Tuesday to Wednesday,
It is
right?
scheduled to be here this week.
Okay, good.
By wheelbarrow
So, the guy.
from Colorado.
The DPW guys are doing a great job, and we appreciate them. We appreciate everything you guys do for us.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yep, that's it.
Councilman Kim.
And none at this time.
Thank you. Well, I think we covered the correspondence and reports. Do you have anything further to add, Jay?
Mayor, just on the issue of the community development housing rehab program, if it is the council's desire to terminate this contract, I would prepare a resolution for our next meeting, formally doing so, and then we can notify the county.
We have a consensus on terminating this contract?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, draw that up, Jay. Please, thank you. Ordinance, no ordinance introduction at this time. We do have a few resolutions. Resolution R 2014-49, this is the Mosquito Extermination Commission. We need a motion and a second.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any other comments on the program? Roll call, Jay?
Mrs. Cynthia?
Yes,
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Tinkin?
No.
Thank you. Resolution R 2014-50, authorizing refund of overpaid or canceled taxes. Need a motion and a second?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Do we have any questions? Roll call, Jay?
Mrs. Cynthia?
yes,
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Tinkin?
Yes.
Thank you. A motion to move the bills to the Finance Committee?
I'll make the motion to move the bills to the finance
I'll
committee.
Second.
second it.
Any questions? Roll call, Jay?
Mrs. Cynthia?
yes,
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Tinkin?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution R 2014-51, approving the payments on February 21st, 2014 bill list.
I'll make that motion.
If I may, I just should note for the record that the resolution references the bill list as February 24th. The attached bill list is actually dated February 21st.
Thank you, Jay. Do we have a motion and a second?
I made the motion.
I'll second it.
Any questions? Roll call, Jay.
Mrs. Cynthia?
yes,
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Tinkin?
Yes.
Thank you. Each appointed meeting where this public may comment on any item they'd like, just step forward, give your name and address.
Sharon Matto, Beverly Avenue. Mayor, the next planning board that's coming up, is this the night that the official B3 is going to be voted on?
Official
The
B3
the B3 ordinance will officially be voted on.
at the planning board, no.
I thought it was postponed, I thought it was supposed to be coming up.
the B3's already in.
Yeah, that's,
B3's done.
It's whether or not the,
B3 is,
But isn't there supposed to be some other kind of vote
yeah,
in terms of
the
that?
vote on the claims?
just
Whether or
whatever-
not the
whatever-
Moscato
whatever's
thing
on
goes
the-
forward as
Yeah.
drawn up.
Oh, okay.
whatever's on the agenda.
Well, I have another question. As I understand it in Spring Lake, when a council member as a representative is a representative on the planning board in Spring Lake, they're not allowed to vote on any land use issues. And I was wondering what the situation here is in Spring
Well,
Lake.
that may be a legal question,
I believe that's Spring Lake has a combined land use board, and in those cases, use variance applications, basically, the combined land use board serves as the zoning board of adjustment, in which case the mayor and the governing body representative would not participate in that application.
Right, that's what I'm talking about, because I know that, like, for instance, Priscilla Riley, she's on the planning board and was on the council. So any land use issues that would come up, she would have to recuse herself. So I'm wondering how if Spring Lake Heights works the same way.
Yeah, but what he's saying is that in Spring Lake, the two boards are combined, they are one, aren't they?
That's my understanding, although
That's my understanding too.
What, the planning board and the council?
No, the planning board and the
And
board of
land use.
adjustment are the same.
Okay.
That makes the situation different, we're separate here.
Okay, but the council members who are also on the planning board, for instance, are not allowed to vote on any land use issues if they're on the council. If something comes up, they have to recuse themselves, and this is what I was understood from
No.
the DID president.
I mean, I don't represent Spring Lake, but I think council's correct that they have a combined board. You have your governing body, and then you typically have a planning board and a board of adjustment. A planning board would deal with things like subdivisions or site plans. So major subdivisions, minor subdivisions, or site plans. Board of adjustment deals with things like undersized lots and use variances. They have a combined board, and a number of towns have that where they've gone to just one consolidated board, but the members who sit on that board, you have council appointments, you have mayoral appointments, depending on the town you're in. You have both on those boards, but when it's sitting as the Board of Adjustment, so you'll appear in front of the combined board, but they will say, oh, tonight we're sitting as the Board of Adjustment, or tonight we're sitting as the planning board. When they're sitting as the Board of Adjustment and it's a use variance, the mayor does not vote, and I don't believe the council votes in the towns that have that the council designated.
Right.
I have to check, but that's not what Spring Lake Heights has. So the person who sits on the planning board here would vote, and the application you're discussing is a planning board application, so there is no per se conflict that would prevent people from sitting on the planning board to actually vote. Does that make sense?
No, I think I'm a little more confused now than before, but in a situation where a planning board member were to possibly profit personally from something,
Okay, I
That's a
understand
separate
your
issue.
point.
do they have to
Now,
recuse themselves from any kind
Here's
of
what
vote?
here's what we can do,
Wouldn't like to
Sharon.
think so.
We will get an opinion from the planning board attorney exactly if Councilwoman Cindy or myself can vote. I mean, that's all I can say at this time. We have a planning board attorney. I'm sure he's well versed in whatever.
I mean, it's all going to be an eventual record if somebody profits from it. So you would like to think that they would have enough foresight to realize that they need to accuse themselves.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no hands, I need a motion to close it.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We do have the approval of the minutes. This is the February.
Oh, my goodness.
February
Approval of
24th.
minutes.
Correct, Jake? February 24th?
From January 13th.
January 13th, thank you, Chris. Need a motion and a second for the January 13th, 2014
I'll make
minutes.
that motion.
I'll second.
Are there any questions on the minutes? Roll call, Jake?
Mrs. Cindy,
I abstain.
Mrs. King,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien,
I wasn't there, right? I abstained.
Mr. Schuler,
Yes.
Mr. Tinkin.
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing other thing, any comments from the council? I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks.